Hello, we're back. We've come up with a topic. This is Athena doesn't have to fix his lighting. Um, we've figured things out. Things are going well. We have a topic today. Today's topic. What's today's topic, Athena?
Basically, this will be a whole ranked guide and experience. What is that? Kool-Aid?
This? No, it's G Fuel. We're not sponsored, but hey, G Fuel, hit us up.
G Fuel at 9 p.m. Wait, 12 a.m.
What time? Wait, what time is it?
Bruh.
No, it's only. Hold on, is my watch right?
Nah. You.
It's only 11.
Good luck going to bed.
I'm not going to bed. My sleep is ruined. That's the one thing about the gym that I hate is that it ruins my sleep because I need more recovery time. So like instead of sleeping for 8 hours, it's like 10 hours because like, you know, don't look like thought. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you like? Yeah, you sleep longer because your body's recovering. Little muscle fibers are. Ignore him. Ignore him. Okay, he's perfect. He gets 8 hours sleep. Okay, yeah, he's not saying anything. He's not saying it. Okay, can we go back to talking about rank and not worrying about my caffeine consumption?
You're the one that brought it up.
Listen, I'm gonna bring out the frog thing and we keep going.
I don't care. Next. Don't care.
Okay. Yeah. So ranked. I guess where do we want to start with that, and where do we want to end? I mean, ranked is a pretty comprehensive topic. There's a lot to talk about there. It's very delicate. In terms of, it's not really delicate in terms of, but it's very complex, right? So like starting out with ranked experiences, how to get better at rank, how to rank up, like what are we targeting? What's the first vertical that we're attacking?
I think the first thing I would ever say to anybody that got into ranked or just ranked in general is you shouldn't care too much about it. You shouldn't put ranked on a pedestal over all the other game modes. Obviously, it's more competitive. There's elo on the line. It's what determines your skill to the public. But I think people really stress too much and end up forgetting to playing a video game. Now, that's kind of a two-sided kind of statement because people will say like, "Oh, it's just a game, why are you trying so hard?" But you know, you should still challenge your efforts onto the game without emotionally attaching yourself too much to it. For example, like if you lose a game, you actually feel more stressed and like you overall just in a worse mood, and that's not really the purpose of the game. Obviously, I'm a firm believer that you should control your emotions and have a very strong mind while playing games, but to an extent we're humans and we go from there. So 100% I always say this to people, but like play ranked like you don't give a fuck. You know, I'm actually like serious about that. Play ranked like you don't give a fuck. So for example, whether you lose a round or maybe you are thinking of making a push, just do it. Why not? Just if it works, it works. If it doesn't, GG, go next round. So this will kind of get all of that doubt behind your head. Am I making the right decision every single time? Am I making the right decision? Then you're gonna end up not making decision at all, and you're gonna put yourself in a worse position in ranked. So you need to. I think everybody has been through that time where they have that like flow. They're in the flow. Every shot is landing. It feels like they're making the right decision. Oh, they died. At least they got 2 kills. So, you flow naturally. And when you flow naturally, you'll make decisions a lot faster and more fluently without having to think, and like constantly stressing out because no one plays good when they're stressed. Like, even like athletes, like when they're in a non nervous, cool state, they're just going with the flow, they'll play a lot better. So, you have to play ranks. That's the first topic I have to say to lay it out. Just play rank like you don't care, but obviously you want to play to win at the same time.
You should have made that. What's the word I'm looking for? Words today are just like lost on me. Yeah, should have made that a little bit more evident because like you obviously like don't care in terms of like don't let it affect your mood. Like I feel like that should be like maybe that's easier said than done, right? But like generally speaking, like it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's a game. Like who cares? People are gonna shit talk. Just ignore them, right? Um, as for like that, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's relatively true. That being said, if you want to get better at ranked, you're gonna have to care a little bit in the sense that you obviously don't want to lose. And I think that's all. People don't really make that distinction where
I don't want to
they
interrupt you here, but you have a good point right there. Is that you should, you know, still want to improve. Now, instead of like saying, I can't just say, oh, just go in like you don't care, but like I'm saying, you have to care at the same time. I think you should go in there and not always have to worry about making the right decision all the time while holding yourself to a higher standard. So if you hold yourself to a higher standard, like, oh, I know I'm supposed to drone this room instead of just walking and sprinting in. You hold yourself to that standard. That way, you're always operating at a high level, but you're operating at a high level while not, focusing too much on the result of the match. So
yeah,
really, that's what I would rather say. Is like you expect a lot out of yourself.
yeah, I would agree with that because like not caring is like one thing, right? Like the emotional aspect, but you also do want to care. And this is you want to get better if that's what you want to do, right? Some people just play ranked to play ranked. If you do that and you're on my team, I'm gonna have some very strongly worded opinions about you in all chat. Um, and I guess speaking of that, that's a good
You're one of those
transition.
people.
Um, I I I don't know what he means by that. I'm gonna call a flag on that play. Um, but yeah, continuing on, I guess that's a good transition to like how you want to like kind of just be as a person in ranked. Obviously, like we said, you kind of want to care, but you also don't want it to impact yourself emotionally because that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's a game at the end of the day, and I mean, yeah, games have an emotional aspect to them, but you can remove a lot of that. And that can help kind of yourself like get better, and also just your enjoyment of the game. But yeah, when it comes to like being a teammate in ranked, right? So it depends if you're like solo queuing, if you're five stacking. If you're five stacking with Athena and Pox and locks, you will lose every game, and I would know that personally. Um,
You're not wrong. I was playing with them later today, and Pox was whew, man
sometimes
trolling,
sometimes Pox is
trolling.
locked in, and then sometimes Pox is like he's just like me for real. He just trolling to troll. But yeah, so I guess we need to make the distinction of like solo queuing and stacking. I personal preference, I kind of like solo queuing because I'm a masochist. But I think there's things that can only be learned in solo queuing. And that's like how to play around with your random teammates. And I think your ability to make independent decisions, regardless of others, will help carry over when you're in a stacked environment. It also can like lead to some bad habits, but if you're solo queuing, like generally speaking, you want to be positive, you want to be communicative. So you always want to be like relaying information to your team as long as it's important information. You don't want to tell them, "Hey, I just got like I don't know a McChicken from McDonald's." I don't think that's really important. But it's like, "Hey, I saw this guy here, or this guy shot this cam, or Sophia's lit, or whatever it may be." Right? That's important information. So always like being communicative and always trying to help out your team. A lot of people after they die, instead of going on cams, they go on TikTok. Hey, you can do that, but you're not gonna like really see the progression in your rank that you want to see. And then kind of a tertiary thing to that is like the same thing to be said about like honestly anything. Like you should always like actively be doing something, whether that's like trying to gather information for your team, whether that's trying to help your team in some way. Maybe you're trying to push with them or trying to deny a push with them. Always like do something actively so you're not wasting like valuable time of your own time, right? So that's like I said, delaying a push, getting information, and like in some cases like there's not a whole lot you can do. Depending on your role, if you're anchoring, like yeah, you're not going to see a whole lot of action until like the last 30 seconds. But in the like in like the meantime or the interim, like get on cameras, make calls to your team, like relay information if you're like Pulse or something and you're sitting on site. A great example is gold on bank. If you're sitting in gold, waiting for them to push into like server, like hey, like let them know like what's going on. Um, always trying to be like always try to be doing something that you can help your team. And then for five stack, I don't really have a lot of experience with that because I mainly just solo queue because I think it's more enjoyable. Even though it's not as enjoyable. We're not going to get into to that, but yeah, I'll have Atheno take over for the five stack portion of this section.
Yeah, and I'll give some thought for the solo queue viewers out there. So let's start with a five stack. So five stack, off the top of my head, definitely it's teamwork and communication. Obviously, comes down to winning your gunfights and stuff like that. But when you are in a team environment, it's a lot. Everyone's on the same. It's five people kind of completing the same objective and moving forward makes things move a lot smoother because the difference is when you're solo queuing and trying to complete an objective, there's going to be some parts of the map, a little bit of holes in your attack that's going to kind of bite you in the stomach or in what is it, that bite you in the ass or something like that, whatever the phrase is. But Yeah, when you're in a stack, then you only have to worry about, oh, I just need to finish my job, and then my stack is moving forward together. And that's why 5 stacking is so good. So first of all, I would say I cannot emphasize it enough. If you're in a 5 stack or you have communication, the strongest thing that communication can do in teamwork, the strongest form of that in a 5 stack is crossfires. So, for those who are new here, crossfires basically mean that you guys are ready to um, shoot the same angle or pathway together at very, very hard angles away from each other. Makes any sense? So, basically, if an enemy was to walk into a room, one person is hard left and the other person's hard right. Now, the enemy can only swing one person, and this you can call this baiting, but it's called trading at that time. So like I said, it's like two cancels one, two or is it two cancels out one, and the one remains is you winning the round. So if you can master that, honestly, you will find yourself in that crossfire position a lot, and that is probably one of the most high value skills that any player can develop, whether you're a pro or a champion. Now I think about it, now that I think about it, that is probably one of the highest skills that any player can have when working in a team is knowing how to 2-on-1 an enemy, because that means you always are guaranteed to come out with a trade unless you obviously you with your shots, but then that's just a skill issue. So obviously you'll work towards that, work towards your gun skill. Um, but other besides crossfires, you mean callouts, if you play in kind of a quiet or a chaotic stack and there's really no initiative happening, you want to be the person making initiative. The person that makes initiative in ranked or just in overall pushes and communication is going to kind of be the make or break of a good push. We've all had those moments where you open up a wall and everyone just kind of holds their ankle and they stall out and nothing happens. Next thing you know, minute 30 passes by and you're in a worse position because the whole defense is already the whole defense is already like repositioned to yourself. So like now you're back at square one. If anything, you're in a worse position now. Um, so learn how to take initiative. I don't care what it is. This comes back to not giving a fuck too much. Like, don't worry about making the wrong call. Just be like, hey, I think there's a person in this corner. Me, you, let's double up on this guy. If you both die, who cares? You like, at least you tried. And then at least you guys went down together and at least made the effort, because that is way better than both of you guys just getting picked off solo and you learned nothing. You basically just wasted a whole round that you could have learned from. So take initiative and create a lot of crossfires. But yeah, 5 stacking is really just, as much as I just emphasize, all these principles. Have fun, man. If you guys are not vibing out, there really is no point of you guys 5 stacking. You guys are just a ton of solo queue players butting heads every time. And why are you making it? Why are you fighting your own team while fighting the other team? That's not gonna do anything. So you just have to vibe out, man. You have to find how to bring out the best in your team. Make jokes here and there. Just like I said, just don't play like you don't care. And when you do that, you'll find yourself. It's just how it's gonna be. You'll find yourself you play better when you have fun and you care less, and you'll be more confident most likely than the other team. The other team is probably just as scared as you. That's actually a good saying. Whenever you're pushing someone, or like let's say you're pushing someone on that map, the enemy is just as scared as you. So don't think that you're going up against Jesus in ranked all the time. You know, think that, oh, like this person probably is not going to expect me doing that. I'm going to make the initiative. And about like 70% of the time, you will come out on top of that gunfight. So that's mostly for the 5 stack, but it really carries on over to the solo queue. Solo queue, you have to you have to drop all of your expectations if you solo queue. Do not expect anything out of solo queue except for self improvement on your gameplay.
And
You know,
suffering, lots of suffering, so much
yes, it
suffering.
is a lot of suffering, but that suffering it has to be appropriate amount. I'm not saying just go into solo queue and fight everyone off. That's just not worth your time. Instead, but like if you are going to solo queue, you have to be ready to deflect off your teammates a little bit. not caring what they're doing on the map. Don't care about their callouts. If they're loud, just mute them. Like it's really that simple. Um, Reminds me of this cyberbullying phrase. Oh,
Just
you're
turn
being
your phone
bullied
off.
online. Just
Turn your
turn your
phone
screen
off.
off. But I mean, most of it is kind of true. But just don't, But obviously, you can't always just close a screen on your, especially in IRL. You can't just nope, not talking anymore. But going back to the solo queue, yeah, man, like if you want something done, you have to be one doing it. Whether it's joining out a room,
Ooh.
pushing someone, you just have to do it. No one else is gonna do it. Not your teammate that's top fragging. He's too busy doing his thing. Yeah, like if the bare minimum, yeah, you can communicate to your teammates, give her call outs, but as long as you just do your part of the game, your teammates responding back to you or anything that happens to you is pure just life. It's just game. It's just how the game is. As long as you gave in your effort, you have something to work on that you can improve from next time. And that's just how solo queue is. Solo queue, yeah, you might be in a 1v5 every round, but all right, practice your 1v5s. That's it. Practice your aim, practice your kills. If you can't kill all five of them, then you have bad aim. Well, you know, you guys get my point, but yeah, like solo queue, you have to go in there with no expectations. You have to go and think of it as like a rank simulator, solo simulator of clutching and practicing a new thing. Because, like I said, rank, there's nothing on the line. Don't see Elo as you can't see Elo like, oh, like Elo just doesn't matter. I think that we'll get to the another point, but if you have anything to say, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with a lot of that. I think Elo probably just doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, like ranked is all ranked is a more competitive environment for you to get better at the game. Like that is it in essence. Like it doesn't matter. Like as long as you end at a higher rank than you did last season, or your peak rank is a better peak rank than you had last season, I think like you're winning. So if you go from like silver to gold, that's fine. If you go from gold to diamond, that's even better, right? Um, so I think that should be like everyone's kind of main goal. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, like ranked is just like a series of like putting the reps in, like anything else, like learning from your mistakes and always like attempting new things to get better at those things. And I think if you go into like ranked with that mindset, like there's no way that you are worse off. Like you have to be like at the very least better off. And then obviously like if you're a solo queue player, hey, like find other solo queue players. Like how I met like my team or like when I was playing like with teams and stuff. Funny enough, like Shock, is like on Xbox in like Operation Dustline. I was the only person on my team who went positive against Shock's team, and I saw like they had a little clan tag. It was like Team Master or whatever. So like there's Team Master Shock, Team Master Hades, Team Master Ares, and like there's another one, right? And I was like, oh, yo, are you guys like 5 stack? And they're like, no. And I'm like, do you guys need one? I was the only one who went positive last game. And they're like, yeah. And then so like me and Shock literally became friends. And like I think the same is like true. So like if you want to like get better and like you want to find a 5 stack, the best way to do it is like not through like Discords or whatever. Just add someone who did good on your team or who's like giving good calls or who's like giving good vibes. Add them and play with them. Like you might like meet a lifelong friend. Who knows? Maybe you just have a good teammate for like the next few seasons or maybe the next few games where like you can rely on them to like do their job competently, and then you can get better that way. I think that's also kind of like maybe an underrated tip. Just always like just look for people trying to get better, and like you will also probably get better.
Yeah, like the excuse that people tell me is like, "Oh, I solo queue because," or like, "How do I get more friends and teammates?" Blah blah blah. It's the same as anybody else. Same as you were to meet people IRL. Like at the end of the day, like if you're scared, or if you're a shy person scared to reach out, one thing that I can say, like at least for a siege perspective, is it's actually easier to find teammates in Siege than it is to make friends in real life because, well, one, you guys are playing, you have the same interests already. You guys are playing the same game, and you're on the same team. So there's already a bridge, and there's that breaks a lot of the ice between you and these strangers that you're playing with on your team. So, like, it's really simple. I'll give you the layout right now off the top of my head. Be nice, give good call outs, genuinely just try your best. And yeah, that's really it. Like, there's really nothing complicated about that. You don't have to impress them or anything like that. And if you feel nervous to do that, then you gotta get that under control. But like they're like it's never gonna hurt to ask. Like the worst thing they can say is no. Sorry, I'm solo queuing, or sorry, we have a 5 stack. Oh, no worries. Have a good day. Move on. The next team, the next team that you go up, you have might also be kind and have mics and actually be decent at the game, bro. Like most of the time, those could be your future teammates that you hit diamond with or whatever rank you want to hit. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. And one of the easiest ways you can find teammates nowadays is through solo queue because you can currently see how their calls are, their ranked, their gun skill is. Discord, I mean, Discord's kind of a tough one because when I used to play in the RC Discord, that was like 3 or 4 years ago. That was a long time. It's a little bit different now. I think it's full of cheaters and hackers now. So, but if you can find a good person, then you want to make friends with them. Back then, I would, you know, it would always be like the same dozen group of players in the platinum area, platinum, gold area, whatever rank you would be. And they would have all these channels of every rank, like gold, platinum, silver. I would always be between the gold and the platinum, and I would always see the same players. Those players, actually, I met one of those players, and I still play with him to this day after all those years. And that was Senvale. He was playing and he switched to PC when I switched
Oh
over too.
no.
And me and him I was actually I was freaking so bad. And this was back when, he had like 30 viewers on Twitch. And I had like, yeah, I had like 3 viewers on Twitch. So, and like 3 or 2, So playing with him, I was nervous to play on stream. I wanted to impress him. But, he taught me the ropes of like how to get good and better at this game. And we just kept playing from there because what did I do? I gave decent call outs. I put the right operators. I was just a good teammate. I shut up and listened when I need to. And yeah, like, you have to understand how to take criticism from others. You're gonna meet a lot of people who might give you criticism, but one of the fastest way you can burn a bridge with someone is, you know, take their criticism the wrong way or, you know, be so full of yourself. Like there's times where it'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I disagree with you. I think I made the right decision here." But, you can't just be like, "No, you're wrong. I'm right." Like stop acting like, that's the worst. No one was gonna want to be around you if you're all like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. That kind of brings up a funny memory. You're talking about Senville. No one watching this podcast is gonna know this guy. This guy named Edan, EHHDANN, played in like the Canadian like league, like way back in the day. Twitch streamer, and me and Shock met him when we switched over to PC because me and Shock switched over at the same time, and we met him in ranked, and Shock was like already like pretty good on PC. And he like showed us the ropes, and we played with him, and he was just a cool guy. He was just a fun guy to play with. And he like kind of taught us the ropes of Siege, and like a lot of people are like willing to like teach you. If you are gonna be like, hey, like, do you have any like tips? And like, there's some dickheads in the community, probably more so than other games, but like most of the time, people are nice and like super cool.
Yeah, that's one thing is like the Siege community is almost like any other community, but like there's always gonna be toxic people. There's always gonna be terrible people in there. But you have to understand that, like, you just gotta let people go sometimes. Sometimes if you're in a just because you've been playing them for a while, it doesn't mean you have to stay around them. Like, I had so many like different groups of people that I went through that like I eventually just outgrew them, or like I would just like not play with them anymore. Either they quit the game or they would just I don't know. They were, they were just too loud. They weren't really on my style of game. I kind of like playing a little bit more calmer and, trying better, but sometimes people would be trolling and shit. So you have to understand that Siege is full of, there's always going to be bad apples, but there's going to be good ones. And try to pick as many good people as you can. So
Yeah,
really, like, like to wrap this up, like, ranked really is just finding players that are as good, if not better than you, and like until you're at a champion level, you should always be around the players that are better than you because then you're going to be exposed to their network of people. and you're gonna maybe add them, and it's just like you're just gonna elevate faster as a player than if you were to just play with nubs all day. So, and like I said, like similar to solo queue, as long as you're just a good teammate, you call out and you try your best. You generally cannot go wrong with that because eventually something's going to go right for you, and that's going to be the make or break of whether you become a nobody in this game or you become better, rank up more. And ranked is really just you know like you said, it's just another way, a competitive way to test your skill. There's real like there's no real disadvantage or like failure to ranked. You could drop down to copper if you you know what's wrong about that? I mean, obviously, it's the lowest rank in the game, but like, all right, work your way back up. Or you're perfectly fine in real life. It's a video game. You guys have to understand that.
That is
And
that should be the biggest takeaway, is that it's a video game. Like it doesn't matter. It's like the same thing with like I don't know if like so you go to the gym, right? Like there's always like pickup games and stuff at my like local LA Fitness. I don't ever go because I'm 5'6". I'm not making any impact on the court at all. But like 9 times out of 10, like I never see like people like upset. Like I'll just like sitting there like in between workouts, be like just watch the games. Like hey, sometimes like they're fun to watch, but like no one's upset. Like it's just a game. Like just have fun. Like literally like gaming is supposed to be like an escape from like the real world per se, right? So like use it as that. Like just have fun. And like if you want to like get better, like go play ranked and have fun in ranked. Just don't care too much and like don't let it impact you, because like it's not weird that it impacts you, but it doesn't make sense to cry over spilt milk.
yeah, I mean, you can. I bet you a better example for a lot of other people is like just think about if you were like you said, if you were to go onto a court and play a game of basketball with I don't know some random people you just met. They're just playing for fun. Oh, you lost the 2v2. I don't know, scores like 11-9. Bro, you guys all go home to fun. You guys go home like you did, they forget about it because they just had fun in the moment. It was a good basketball scrimmage to test their skill. All right, they'll come back tomorrow to the gym and they'll play another game of basketball and reset. Like the same thing as ranked. So like, yeah, like those people who are playing the basketball game, like probably not even thinking, oh my god, I have to win this. I have to make this shot, or else I don't know, some secret NBA contractor is not going to come out of the freaking wow, wow, amazing. No, that's not going to happen. And it's the same thing as ranked. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Your ego is going to get freaking shattered because you lost a ranked game, or maybe you went 1-5. Who, bro, cares? Stop worrying so much about it. I think that's a good way to end it. Is, stop.
Oh. Do you want to do the out?
Stop caring more and hold yourself at a higher level.
Do you want to do the outro since you didn't get to do the one last episode?
No, you can do it.
Wow. Okay. Spiteful. I see. I mean, I guess that's it. That's episode 9. I think maybe I'm off. I think so. We'll see you guys in the next one, which is gonna be. I think we're shooting for every Tuesday and Thursday, except we missed last Thursday. I don't know. Time is weird. But yeah, every Tuesday and Thursday. So we'll see you guys again soon, with another topic, which maybe is gonna be better than last podcast. I hope it's better than last podcast.
Your last one was terrible, man.
Last one's just the worst podcast of all time. Yeah, so that being said, guys, it's been Vexy and Atheno, and we'll see you guys later.